and career readiness for the State Department of Education. Thank you so much for joining us for our monthly Secondary Success Community of Practice meeting. I'm joined today by my colleagues, Katie Atkinson, Education Consultant with our division, as well as Kylie Freeman, State Perkins Director. We're delighted to have you join us today for a presentation by Willie Barber, Chief of Workforce Development, General Dynamics, and Electric Boat, and his colleague. EB is doing great work in partnership with public schools throughout Connecticut, and so we're really excited about this presentation. You may have recently read in the news that there's a recent collaboration with New Haven Public Schools, and so you'll learn a lot more about all things EB, and please join me in welcoming Willie Barber. Thank you. Willie, I'll turn it over to you.
Great. Thank you, Karen. So very excited to chat with all of you today. I do see some familiar names that are on here, but definitely want to continue to connect as we keep getting going. But yeah, so for those that didn't hear, we're expanding our reach. We are partnering with a lot of our local, school districts that are here very close by that I know I see some of your names. But with our hiring need of what this year is going to be, which is going to be very large, we are really looking at how do we get more into different communities. So just want to start off with, who we are for those that don't know. Again, I'm Willie Barber. I do all of our workforce partnerships and programs across Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Southeastern Mass. I actually have Kathy Sutton here with me too, who's helping drive just if there's any questions in the chat too. But you might have met me or her within the school districts in Connecticut this year. But we are the world's premier submarine builder for the U.S. Navy. Our primary focus is building nuclear-powered submarines. And when you hear about the growth, we are building two types of submarines. So you can kind of see just in some of these photos here that a lot of these photos are your Virginia-class submarines, our fast attack. But I'll talk a little bit more about the type of submarines as well before we get started. So this is a little bit about our core values here at EB. We really important to us is that we value each other. We behave with integrity and purpose and commit to excellence. One big thing about us is safety is our number one priority. So, when working with your students, reassuring that. And we'll talk a little bit deeper on some of our student-centered programming that happens. Where we're located, so we have 3 major locations. We do some stuff all over the country, but our headquarters is in Groton, Connecticut. And I know for this audience, a lot of your students would be looking at Groton, Connecticut for positions. And for those that don't know, that's not in this presentation, our Groton, Connecticut site is growing so large that we also had to acquire the Crystal Mall for a lot of our training and our business operations. So Groton could be solely focused on building the Columbia and Virginia class submarines. So we are actually also in Waterford too. So that will be coming very shortly. We also are in New London, where our engineering and design old Pfizer building is located. And our manufacturing facility in Quonset Point is also ramping up in hiring and very massive. But for those that are on the Eastern Connecticut side, we do get a lot of students on the Danielson up through Thompson that do apply for Quonset Point positions. So this is a little bit about our submarines. Those on the call, some of you might know. Actually, I see a few names that definitely know the type. But we've been building our Virginia-class submarines. We have 124 years of submarine experience. We have delivered 359 submarines to the Navy. Virginia is what we're actively building. If you want to see down on below, the reason why we're hiring so much is this new Columbia-class submarine. It's replacing Ohio-class, and Ohio-class is essentially getting old, so we've got contracts to build replacement Ohio-class, which are called the Columbia. Columbia-class is so large that we needed to bring in a floating dry dock that actually, it's called the Atlas. You can see it in our social media pages, up the river to help launch this submarine, because none of our docks were large enough to withstand the size of the Columbia class submarine. We had to build new buildings for this submarine. And essentially, we had to look at our workforce and almost double it, right? Because we have crews working Columbia and then crews working Virginia. So that's why we are expanding so large. So when you look at that size difference, it's pretty amazing, seeing what will be delivered. Hopefully by 2028, 2029 will be that first Columbia class. So that was EB in a nutshell. You can see in the background, that's the new building that's going to be launching the Columbia class. I'm going to start talking about our growth, our workforce, our programs, and our partnerships. But do we have any questions about, EB as a whole, General Dynamics, before we dive in? And if you do have any questions, you can put them in the chat. Feel free to pop in. Any questions? I'll say that's good to move into the workforce component. So I'm going to drive in here. So we have some schools, that are already on here. I know we have more. This slide, actually, this was from, I think, 2024. But I think Janet's on here. I see Leslie on here. So I see a lot of partners that have been steadfast partners through the years, that are on this call, which is great. We run the full suite of programming. If there is no tech program, right, we have the ability to incorporate our programming with all of you. So our Boat for Kids, Boat for Explorers, and Boat for Next Gen programs are actually in 2025 expanded even larger, but we work with districts on a district level. So not just going to a random school and saying, hey, we want to do program. We really want to make sure there's ownership from the district and the central office, because we want to make sure if we're doing an elementary program, we're not, just going away, and we're offering something at each touch point or inflection point. So looking at that, we have an elementary school program where we bring in partners, for example, 6 Tuesdays in a row, and they come in and they teach a different high demand trade each Tuesday or each Wednesday based on how we schedule. We provide the instructor, whether it's from Goodwin University or University of Connecticut, and they go in and they teach this material. So that's our Boat for Kids program. It's one of my favorites. Our Explorers program is a partnership with RoboNation in the middle school. So we have worked with building these sea perch underwater robots. And we have also worked on a curriculum that actually has all of the standards mapped to each lesson plan that could be leveraged and utilized with building these. We are also going to be doing competitions at the end of the year, where the Navy helps run these with UConn's Navy STEM. So that's another really awesome partnership. Our high school program, for those that might not have access to trying some of the trades, is called Boat for Next Gen. That one brings in students, and we usually have a max of 12, but it brings in students to the Westerly Education Center or Grosso Tech, and they get to try some of the trades. We are working to figure out how could we have this in different areas, because we do know Westerly is far. Some schools have worked to accommodate this to be during the school day. And doing that actually has removed some of that barrier, right? So we have done that as well. So that kind of gives those programs free of charge. So all of this is free. This is all funded through the DoD, IBAS, and we work very closely to make sure, right, that there's schools that have inflection points that are connected, and then also with schools after Next Gen to make sure there's an on-ramp into higher. So that's kind of our suite of programming. I'm going to pause. Does anybody have anything to say on these 3 programs?
And I'm gonna add the link in the chat for anyone that's interested in looking at any of, further information about these programs, overviews, and facilitator guides. Adding that momentarily in case anyone needs that.
So that way you guys can have like a little handout. But yeah, I mean, these numbers have like grown substantially. Like looking at, we actually are going to be serving this year over 2,000 4th and 5th graders and getting close to 2,000 7th and 8th graders in the middle school. And the Boat for Next Gen is going to be close to 20 districts taking part in the program now this year. So when looking at, this is just continuing to get more and more engagement. And here are some photos from those programs. You can see that we're engaged. We also partner with scout groups, nonprofits, et cetera. We're really widening that net.
I'm also adding contact information in the chat. Right now, you can email me. So I will add that to the chat.
And actually, this is a great segue too, because Kathy, who just is speaking on my team, she is really running home our partnership with any career and tech program. So you just learned the suite of programs that happen, in addition to, but this is something else we also do, and that's kind of what we did, and I know we've worked with other districts on the call, but our liaison program kind of is that working with the CTE, working with that teacher, providing training for that teacher if they want that training. So we encourage projects in work-based learning, safety regulations. We do create industry-specific content. All of this is, again, all mapped around high-demand trade areas, just like the ones before.
Yep.
So those welding, machining, electrical, sheet metal, pipe fitting. Those are the areas we're really hiring in high demand. Those pieces acts like they're mentors to students. And we do provide as well workshops for these schools to get them, ready to go for their application days if we host those. We also assist if you have any with partner schools on their CTE open houses, advisory board meetings, information sessions. All of those things kind of happen with that type of partnership. And Kathy, I don't know if there's anything else too you would like to add, as this is your baby.
Yeah, so we had a question coming in about partnerships with 18 to 22 age range transition programs. And I do want to say we do partner with many adult education organizations. And I will be adding shortly to the chat a link to find out more information about our adult boat programs. So we do have two flavors of adult exposure programs that we offer to any recent high school graduate all the way up to whatever age. This is a free 2-night program that is held at our offsite training facilities. One is in Groton and the other one is right over the border in Westerly, Rhode Island. That program will expose adults to, what it's like working for our company. And it will also give them a little bit of insight and hands-on experience with our 6 core maritime trades in ship fitting, welding, machining, pipe fitting, electrical, and sheet metal. So that's the adult boat program. We also have an adult program, free 1-night offering that will, it's catered to adults that have any prior military or leadership experience. So I will I will send the link soon in a few minutes in the chat.
This is great. Any questions on our liaison? And now we talked through some of that adult boat programs.
Okay, and another question's coming in about sharing transportation and how we work with transportation options to and from these programs. So I will share, we actually are, we should have a Connecticut transportation one pager available shortly, for EV employees
Yeah.
that we'll be sharing out. For the boat programs, for the high school Boat for Next Gen programs, many of the schools that we work with do provide their own transportation. Whether it's a school, they have a school bus worked into their budget for the year. Some schools have their own vans. However, with that being said, if there is a school that cannot fund transportation, we can try to find a way to get that funded through the Department of Defense
Yeah. So,
for
and
the
I
high
think,
school.
I think it's really good to see. Thanks, Millie, for saying
Mhm.
that with Berlin. School districts that work together also have helped with this. And I know, Leslie, you and Old Saybrook have done this before, Berlin and Westbrook. You know, the more districts that collaborate, you know, and split that, it makes it easier for us, right? It makes it easier for knowing that you have this already in place. It makes it easier for the chaperone that's going to be there, because we do require a chaperone to be there during Next Gen. So these are things I love seeing, the district collaboration, because there's only so much of us, right, on our team. So the more districts that connect, that share these resources, that share the students interested, it benefits the whole. So really, really good point there. I wanted to also say, we do things also for teachers. So with teachers, you know, we've done a few different things. I know we have trained teachers through our pipeline programs and been able to fund those trainings, whether if it's related to our core trades, right? So for the summer, we would put them in.
Seems we may have lost connection with Willie. Kathy, are you still there? Can you hear me? Yeah, I think we've lost sound with Willie. Just give us a moment. Maybe he'll step out and come back in. Katie, I'm sorry, Kathy, in the meantime, is there anything that you'd like to share?
I believe they're sitting next to each other. But he said he's gonna,
Okay. Yes,
he just put in the
dial on a
chat, he's
different
gonna,
line.
that, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Hang on a minute, folks. Thank you.
Technology here is so annoying.
It's wild.
You are now joining the meeting.
All right.
We can hear you now, Willie.
Oh, you can hear me now? Oh, okay.
Yes.
We have it now on two phones. So the internet here just sometimes it's
It's okay.
I actually, just in case, we have it now lodged onto a phone on a dial-in while we're doing this, just in case this were to happen again. So do you hear me on the phone? So you guys hear the phone line?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, sorry. And that we're good to go. So share. I'm gonna go back to this window. All right, so this is the other program I was going to talk to you guys about. Yes, we do a lot for teachers. This one is going to be an open requisition again this year. It's really a program for teachers to teach new hire orientation. You would literally be an employee part-time at EB. We do some like externship, style, like you get to go on a tour and things like that as well. But your main focus is teaching the new hire orientation so that you can go back to school and then you will know our benefits, you will know our location. It's almost like you were an employee for a little bit. So this is a really awesome thing that is coming back this year. It's going to be our 4th year. In the past, we have partnered with the MIB and we have partnered with UConn in this program, but this year will be the first time we are running this program solely EB. So we're very excited about that as it's worked so much in the past. Wanted to share a little bit for our next piece is our junior internship program. This is live. So for those, I know we just did a lunch and learn recently at Newington High School, and we talked a little bit about this if you were there. But I just want to reiterate that this is still live. It's about another week, and then it will close. We are really, really excited about this program this year because last year we didn't get to have as many because our demand wasn't as high. But we're expecting to have, a good deal of interns, roughly around 40 interns this year in design, in the trades, in carpentry. And what they will do is an 8-week program. From the last Monday in June into the middle of August. They work 40 hours a week. They get trained up. They work with a crew. They have a mentor. And then they go back to school senior year. We're very excited about this program because this year we really are starting to look at how do we make it a co-op and a work-based learning program. So we have not naturally done it in the trades. We have done it in design, but we're trying to figure out how do we really work with the schools and also work with our shipyard to get these students in part-time their senior year. We have it down in Rhode Island, but we have not figured it out yet in Groton. But just letting all of you know, as you guys are all thinking about schedule and you're thinking about work-based learning opportunities, I can tell you more and more companies are trying to figure out what are ways we could have students every other day on A day and then B day, so we could do this. So we are actively looking at trying to figure this out for Groton this year. We already have it figured out for Rhode Island, but that is something. And yes, I know the CTEC system does it, and we've been able to do that in design, but the more that, our school districts in Connecticut can figure this out, we're happy to figure out how to accommodate and work with you guys on this too. So that's definitely actively being looked at too. And one other plug for this program, we have already had for Connecticut over 200 applicants for the 40 slots. So I can tell you right now, very important for students to put everything on their resume that they have done in relation to the trade or the work that would be at EB. So if it's welding, what types of welding have they tried? If it's electrical, have they done any banding? Have they done any splicing? Things like that, I would definitely really recommend because it's going to be competitive this year. What I do want to make sure, so I'm going to go back to the operation side. If a student does not get an internship, we do not want them to feel sour because we are hiring over 2,000 trades jobs for the next 3 years. And that's trades for Groton only. So those Eastern Connecticut folks, Quonset is actually hiring around 3,500 trades jobs, and that's trades also only. So I'm not even including design. So those that don't get the internship, you still want to make sure that we offer paid training, and we offer a ton of opportunity for your students that I really want to make sure that message is clear. Our goal is to hire 800 high school students this year. We hired 401 last year between Connecticut and Rhode Island and Mass. Based on our 20% rule, we like to have 20% high school seniors. 800 is what we're looking at for our goals. So, with that, looking at if your student does not want to go to college or is on the fence about going to a community college, definitely have them look at this opportunity. We offer apprenticeship programs. We offer, tuition reimbursement. So there is a lot of opportunity. And as you see here, starting over $23 an hour with step one, that's not even any CTE experience, right? Some that have experience might start higher. And if working second shift, your rate will go up 7% or even third shift, right? So these things are, pretty exciting. Those regular progressions, you could get to first class in 5.5 years and grow your income by 110%. That's taking 18 years old and looking at being almost 24 and making over $30 an hour, and then overtime and things like that. These are things, that are really, really important to share with your students. So any questions on that? Great. So, also for your students that are going to college, we do have another slew of roles: engineering, supply chain, quality, program office, finance, planning, HR. There's something for everyone. So just having your school know about EB is important. I would definitely say when it comes to hiring, we are a big fish right now in the state of Connecticut and just the country in itself. I can tell you we have schools from New York, Long Island, New Jersey, all reaching out, trying to figure out what we do and what our jobs do. So being a Connecticut school and having this type of industry that's booming at a time where other industries are not, is really exciting and something to share with your students. I think, when talking about this, there's definitely many career paths, but I want to bring it back to what I was saying was we have contracts going for years. This is job security. So we know that there is a steady job growth happening for the next few decades. So not many companies can say that. It takes around 7 years to build a submarine. So the amount of submarine orders that are out there kind of gives that job security. Also when you go to EB, there's so much focus on just personal growth. We have a whole internal training department that works on public speaking, that works on mentorship, that works on, collaborating with United Way and community groups. These are all things once you're in. There's a whole athletic club that gives these students the ability to really feel like at home and a part of a community. And travel opportunities. So we get a lot of road job opportunities. I think there's a really cool story that came from Thompson. Melinda has it from her district, that one of the students just after 2 years got a road job down in South Carolina and was making, real good money while on the road per diem. And, we do a lot of overhaul and repair work for submarines. So, go to Puget Sound, Washington, San Diego, Jacksonville, Alabama, and those are areas where submarines go to dry dock, where we need to, fix some things or tune up some things, and our staff can have those opportunities as well. So, it's a major company, right? And we're working with a lot of different suppliers and directly with the U.S. Navy sub bases. So really cool opportunity there. I talked about some of those benefits already, but here's again that tuition reimbursement, athletic club, work boot reimbursement. We have fitness centers. We have discounts with the Marriott and like travel with, Enterprise with rental cars when they're old enough. These are all things that are great. We actually, we have a 401k at a 6% match, which is definitely better than the average company. This is a really, again, awesome opportunity. Holidays that are paid, vacation and sick time, all of these things really benefit. This slide I really want to talk about because we are, this is going to be a big year. We are going to be, last year, unfortunately, we actually had a cap. We still ran signing day, but we literally had a cap of how many kids we could have. We knew our number would have been bigger if we, had the jobs, but this year we have the jobs. So we're going for Connecticut to try to hit at least 400 in Connecticut alone. So right now we're hoping for it to be May 28th. Right now we're looking at spaces that can hold, 400 times parents times that. So we're actually working on that right now. We don't have a venue set, but May 28th is the date we're trying to do. We are doing a Rhode Island one on May 21st, the week before, for Quonset employees. We're actually going to rebrand the name because we realize that there's Connecticut graduates that go to Quonset and vice versa. So it's going to be Groton and Quonset signing day. But for those that don't know, everyone that gets a job offer is going to get an invite to this event. As you can see in the pictures, right, they get their color hard hats, they get to walk across the stage, and all of that gets to happen, right, with the signing day, with also getting the opportunity to meet our president, their future leaders in their company, the Navy, the governor usually, has a chance of coming. All of these things happen at the event. So this is something definitely to keep a close eye on. Those invites will come out very soon once we have secured the location. And also you guys, if you have students that get these invites, we like to invite school leaders so they can also, share with back to their school that they had this experience. So I know, in the past, there's a lot of schools on here that have been to these events, but it's definitely our favorite event. Something cool about this event, we know our seniors that come in now, we've been able to see, retention data too. And we've been able to see are students staying, are they not? We've been really trying to emphasize in getting more opportunity in career and tech education. So those that have schools that have career and tech education, we do see a trend that it does benefit students to be exposed to this stuff before they start. So we really are a huge component of that and would love to help and partner in any way that you need. So that's that. I'm going to stop here. I know I've talked about a lot here on the call, and I want to be able to share, any questions. I know Kathy's going to send any contacts, but I kind of want to end with this is, I was a former educator, I was a teacher, and looking at this opportunity for the economy, and for the state, for those students that don't know what to do to get free paid training and be exposed to this right now is really the time is now. This hiring demand for these next 3 years is record numbers for both our Groton and Quonset facility we have never seen. And since that, it's going to make our company be, we're around 25,000. It's going to be at, close to 30,000 very soon. We were 14,000 just 10 years ago. So just retention alone after these 3 years is going to be record hiring numbers from like past years. So we are really looking at a big demand signal. So I really can't just stress enough the importance of, sharing this opportunity for your kids, regardless of where they live. We do have kids that come from Manchester all the way Hartford. We're seeing kids from Milford. Sometimes they get apartments together with their buddies, and then they live with us, live near us, so with apartments. So these are all strategies we can talk through with your students in your districts. But I'm going to pause and open the floor for questions. They can go in the chat if you want them in the chat, but feel free, you can chat with us too. We're happy to talk online.
And I sent, there's a bit of information in the chat, links. Yep, so I will share my email again.
I would also say, is there anybody on the call that has experience with any of this that would like to just talk about it for some of the new districts that have never, from the district wide that have never done something like this?
Good morning.
I mean, Willie, if you like, East Lyme does quite a bit of this. We have tomorrow we have the folks coming in to talk about the summer high school internship program. And then next week we're doing the hiring day that we collaborate with Westbrook. So it's been great. It's been great for us at East Lyme High School.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. Yeah, I see you on here. Okay, great. That's awesome. Yeah, so again, I think Dave's a really good example. They do the whole K-12 programming, elementary, middle, high school, application day. There's a few districts on here. And I think doing that method, I'm just seeing, even you see with data, I think all of us, I think your schools could share data too on, year over year, how many kids are coming to EB and is it increasing, right? So Westbrook, right? And New London, you guys are great examples. I don't need to call out specific districts, but I see you guys on here. I'm seeing year over year increasing from districts that we've partnered with in these capacities. So yeah, definitely really cool. Thanks for sharing, Dave.
And, one more thing too, is we don't send a lot of kids. This year's maybe 4 or 5, but for the last 3 years, our rate is 100%, meaning 100% of the students we bring to this hiring day for high school kids get a job that day. So that's good for us, good for everybody.
Good morning. I represent Bloomfield Public Schools, school to career office, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm very impressed with this opportunity. I will definitely be reaching out via email just to see how we can get our students involved. I know Groton is a distance, however, it's good to hear that it's other nearby towns around us that have been benefiting and utilizing this opportunity. So I would love to connect a little bit more about it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's great. I would say our expansion into New Haven has shown that there is still an appetite when you look at that Western Connecticut area. I know, you're a little bit further, but not much. And, if you look at, we did just a regular adult hiring day at Match. There was a mixture of people, right? All different ages, but it was our first time really doing something deep in New Haven. And we had 160 people show up, it got to the point where we needed to have multiple interviews happening at the same time. We needed to turn people away to then do phone interviews. So the appetite, the more we've gone west, has just been, it seems exciting. Like, seems like they're excited. We're also working with CT Ride. We've had early calls with Shoreline East about, like, you know, arranging shift times going that way around like per second shift. So we are at the same time looking at our team too. We have somebody on our team that looks at barriers to employment, right? So we're working on all of this at the same time. So just letting you know, because this is going to be a demand for the next few years or decades, this stuff's important to us.
Yeah, and LeVar, if you want to send me over an email, you know, happy to connect, you know, and if it works out schedule-wise, you know, we can also travel to your site to meet in person. So just send me an email and we can go from there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. So anything else from anybody in the crowd? I would say the biggest thing, if you're on this call right now and you have not signed up for an info session, which is when we go to your school, share a little bit about EB, we can do that regardless of geography. We do that all the way northwest. We have gone down, you know, Bridgeport area, Milford area, you know, so just let us know. And then on top of that, I don't know if you guys heard about how we run these on-the-spot interview and offer dates. So we do one on the Shoreline with the 7 schools. We do it with New London. We do it with some of the CTEC schools. I'm actually working with Thompson to do it with Killingly and Woodstock. But we also have an open one. So I want to give you guys this information. It's not on a slide, but we're going to be making a flyer for it. It's going to be April 7th. On April 7th, we are running a high school senior application day open, right, for any high school student that wants a job at EB. So this is for those schools that might like not have the opportunity to collaborate with another district, or they have just a few kids. They can send their students to EB. It's going to be at EB on April 7th at 3:30. We will have a flyer on that. We're creating it. Karen, I'm going to send you that flyer. If you can help disseminate that amongst this group and others. But it's going to be 3:30 p.m. Groton, April 7th. Student just needs to come in. It would be great if they can apply ahead of time, but if they don't, we'll make sure we take care of them, and they could leave EB with an offer. And this will be high school centric, right? The hiring managers are going to know it's going to be 17-year-olds. It's going to be all like, you know, 17, 18, right? So they'll be surrounded by those, you know, similar age kids. So it doesn't feel like, right, like it's them going into a hiring event with all these other people, right? So we want to make them feel comfortable like if we're being at a school. So all those on the call, if you please share, right? If you don't have an info session and you don't have an application day with us, these are opportunities for anybody in the state.
Great. Willie,
Yeah.
can we share the slideshow?
Yeah.
Or do we
Yep.
send out after? Okay, great.
Just gave you a lot of information. So I think I'm good if there's no more questions. We'll share all that stuff. Karen, is there anything else you think for the group?
No, this was amazing, really comprehensive. And, you know, I think what we're really excited about above all else is the pipeline, this K to 16 or adult opportunity, which is really great because the exposure is critically important to our students at an early age. But to know that our high school seniors have opportunities above and beyond college, or can pair that with college, when you talked about the salary and the benefits that those students moving into a hiring position will obtain, is absolutely what we're looking for. So EB is doing great work, and we're really excited that you and Kathy were able to join us today. We typically send out with the invite for the next month's meeting all of the materials. Obviously, we'll send out the slideshow, the transcript, a meeting recording of this meeting, and then the invite for next week. Thank you very much for sharing your contact information as well, so folks can reach out to you directly. Really excited about the April 7th event, so I'll definitely include that flyer with the materials when we send out to all of the folks who registered. We also send it out to those who couldn't make the meeting. So we have a listserv of over 1,600 folks, including our school counselors and post-secondary readiness leads. So this information will be blanketed throughout the state. So very excited to be a part of it.
That's great. And once we also get the signing day details together, we'll send that to you guys so that any school district leader or that knows that their kid has a job, their students have a job at EB, wants to take part in this event, we do want to invite schools to help highlight. A big part of this is changing the paradigm shift of, going to a trade right after high school is just as exciting. So the more we see these schools coming in and sharing on social media and showcasing this event is really a big difference. They also get a yard sign. They put it in their yard, just like if they were going to college.
Really exciting. So are
Yeah.
there any other questions or comments for Kathy and or Willie? Okay, well, you have their contact information. You know how to reach us as well. We thank you very much, Willie and Kathy, again, for this wonderful presentation. Tons of information, really great information. Seems like there is something for everyone. And so we're really excited about this partnership. We look forward to supporting the work that you continue to do throughout the state. And we will send out the information to everyone within the next week or so. And again, thank you very much for your time. Have a great rest of your day.